All right, got beat tonight by a Penn State team. Congratulations to them. They earned that win tonight, beating us. Fought the game, and we really wanted the game to kind of be tight throughout in regards to, I don't know what you want to call it, dirty, sloppy, physical. Thought that was taking place, and this score sat at 14-10 for a lot of the game. Punting, field position. They are good on defense, and we did think, though, we had to create a couple of opportunities situationally to take a shot, and we just did not capitalize a couple of times. I think by the first half even, we get a possession start on our own. We're there 45-yard line. We go 4 and out. You're not going to get many opportunities like that. A short field didn't take advantage of that. And then into the second half, I think maybe about the first series, we go down there, it's 3rd and 4. Really, we're going two-play thinking. We get into the wrong direction on a play, and they hit us in the backfield, and now we end up punting. That was an opportunity with field position to continue a drive. We didn't do it. And again, and then at the end, you got one red zone chance. They're up 2 scores at that point. Then we got the sack fumble that they were able to separate from there. Proud of some defensive effort, 4th down stops. I thought they kept us in it throughout the night. Gave up the one 75-yarder that was a bust. Outside of that, I thought they really battled to keep us within striking distance throughout the night, and then it got away from us at the end there with the sack fumble, like I mentioned.
Questions?
So I'm wondering, after a game like this, was everything between the Minnesota game, this game, so many close games where you fought for 3 quarters or whatever, and then that big drive in particular, the 9-minute drive, how do you keep these guys fighting back when it wears down?
Well, I think they're about fighting back, and they're continuing to grind. I think it's the way we practiced this week heading into this, and really with the way these guys play throughout the game. I mean, they are playing hard and going that drive. They are making them earn it. This isn't a drive full of explosive plays. Yeah, it was. It turned in 4 or 5 and kept lining up again. And credit to Penn State, they were finishing that drive you're speaking to in the fourth quarter there. But I think on our end, these guys are going. We want working. We got to get better.
Matt?
Jonathan, I was wondering if you could kind of describe what happened to Aiden this week with the foot or whatever, and also Alessio, it's 12 sacks and 2 starts, and what you guys got to do to try and keep him up right now.
Aiden tweaked his foot during practice, and it didn't look good for the game, and so the majority of the work last half of this week, Leslie was able to get, and I thought he prepared really, really well. We do want to work to protect him, and again, it's 11-man football and protection. That's why I get a couple of times early in this game, I didn't feel like protection was a big issue. We did run into it in the second half where we're trying to push it down the field a couple times. I thought he avoided well. Alessio showed a little bit of athleticism. Thought he showed a few reps where the ball was getting out of his hand, getting to his 3rd and 4th read. Think about we're running flank or drive. He hits some seamless. That's the third read in progression. That ball was coming out. So back to it. Yes, we got to protect the 5 guys in front of him. The scheme, schematics help out once in a while. But you got to pick and choose once in a while to be able to try to push it down the field, and you run that risk.
Jonathan,
You've spoken about the identity of this team, how you want to build it up. So on both sides of the run, when you see that 9-minute drive, when there's 12 straight run plays and they cover the defense in that way, how do you react to that?
We're not there yet. I mean, we want to be able to, and again, that our defensive side throughout the night, I thought we played solid defense, kept us in the game, like I mentioned. But yeah, they began to lean on it, and that's credit to Penn State. They got some good backs and a good old line.
Jack?
Jonathan, going into this game, what did you think you could get on Penn State offensively that wasn't there?
Well, selectively, a couple of shots. I do think one sack, we've got to let a play way down the field open. Schematic, so there's some selective explosive plays, but we needed to be efficient in the run game and in some of the possession pass game to stay and maintain some drives, and we didn't do that well enough tonight.
And if you subtract the sack yardage on designated pass plays, netted less than 100 yards, what do you need to do there to be competitive at Iowa City?
Yeah, we're going to find ways to. We had the one explosive run, and then it was pretty slim pickings as it goes along. So you got to go look at the scheme. Each team's a little bit different schematically and matchups and all of that. But we want to have some balance offensively in the run and the pass game. It wasn't good enough tonight.
Rico?
Coach, mathematically eliminated from bowl game participation. What's your message to the team to make sure that they keep going forward? And secondly, is this now time that you start maybe playing some of the younger freshmen with, in the final two games?
Yeah, you know, the message to the team in the locker room was heavy amount about the seniors who just played their last game in the stadium. Talked about the respect for everyone in the room individually, but also the respect for the amount of work that's been put in. And so we got 2 more opportunities, and that'll be a message of still finishing this thing the right way.
Jonathan, over here. Nick Marsh has like 2 catches for 5 yards. I'm just wondering, in terms of where he is and his development, protection, all that, sort of what leads to a guy of this skill set winding up with 2 to 5?
Yeah, some of that, they had some coverage where they're, you know, clouding, not just particularly Nick, they're playing some too high coverage, so you're getting double teamed on the receiver. We did take a couple of shots, at least think about the one where Alessio believes getting hit and underthrew it, or it was the wind. Nick's been working, just like all the guys, and yeah, we'd love to see some more, you know, passes completed to him. I know we got some targets his way, we want to get some more completed to him.
Jonathan, in the middle here, the main issue today has been protection, and that was last week. At this point in the season, what do you go about coaching-wise, trying to improve that for the final 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, we gotta keep looking at it, right? Because I do want to own a lot of this as coaches. We're putting these guys in the positions, right? And we got to win some one-on-ones, and at the same time, you know, when you play against, like I just mentioned, they're playing some too high. You do 7-8 man protection, it gets too high. That's going to be uphill sledding in your route concept. So we got to keep looking at it, and we got to find a way to do it better.
Matt?
Jonathan, over here. I was wondering with Wednesday, we haven't talked to you since Wednesday, I was wondering what your thoughts were on Wednesday's news with the NCAA sanctions by vacated wins, and how do you address that with your team?
Yeah, that's been a long kind of process, negotiation, things of that nature. I, you know, echo our leadership in regards to getting something behind us so we can move forward.
With the adversity, and you look at the student section being almost a lifeblood of the program, what does it say that you got a significant number of students shirtless, waving towels throughout the game, despite the adversity and challenges the program?
Yeah, I appreciated the crowd really throughout the night. Student section, I thought they were in it. Like I say, our defense holding it in. That score 14-10 as things got in late into the second half. So our crowd makes a difference. Our student section makes a difference. And we want to return that favor by continuing to grow this program to something that they're going to be celebrating all 4 quarters and after the game.
Chris?
Kind of going back to what Matt asked you about the sanctions and the vacated wins, and then adding in a 7-game losing streak on top of it. How do you keep the fan base engaged for a lot of days?
Yeah, you know, look, we're working to have some success out there and taking some body blows, we'll call it. I know it's not a lack of effort out of this coaching staff and those players in there. We've been proactive, understanding through these negotiations that this had a good chance of coming, so we proactively on the recruiting side, even in the spring and the fall, we took some limitations on the recruiting side proactively knowing that this was coming.
Go ahead. Connor?
Jonathan, did you know about this investigation when you took the Michigan State job?
No.
When was this brought to you?
No, I didn't.
When about was it brought introduced to you that it was?
Yeah, early, this year.
And then I had a question about the 75-yard touchdown. Was that Spencer supposed to hand off the coverage to Smith, or what was the deal there?
Let me get to take what I hear on the headset. I haven't watched the clip, but there was miscommunication between the two of them back there.
Jim?
In these last 2 games, for the fans and stakeholders, what do you feel like you need to show, and what the team needs to show to those people?
Well, yeah, we want to have some success and win a game. I do think we're showing that these guys are playing with great effort and means a ton to them. We've got to get better. We've got to grow. We've got to develop. We need another year of development of the current roster and a recruiting class to keep this thing getting into a better direction. I'm still confident in our approach. This game's not for the shy. This ain't easy. This is a big-time league. It's competitive and tough, playing big-time coaches and players week in and week out, and we've taken a couple lumps here.
Stephen?
John, touching on the vacation wins part again really quick. I guess, how does a player, an eligible player appear in 12 games last season?
Yeah, it's a good question, because oftentimes, or all the time, any player that participates in an NCAA game is cleared eligibility-wise through compliance offices. And so, on our end, we were not aware of it when that was taking place.
just want to ask you about Elijah, as a guy that's made some plays late in the season, that hasn't had a big role all year, but last 2 weeks has stepped up a couple times. What have you noticed from him to stick with it?
Who'd you mention?
Elijah Thompson.
Oh, yeah. He's had back-to-back games and, big plays, obviously the start. That start was a great run tonight, but I thought he had some other good carries, some catches, guys making this. And again, going back to guys growing, continuing, he's playing his best football at the end of the year because of his approach week in and week out.
Chris,
John,
and Jim to wrap this up. Chris?
I feel like you've been on to us about a lot of things throughout the course of your tenure. I'm wondering, how much does this affect your tenure in terms of what the vacation, the wins means, and selling the program on the recruiting trail? Because it sounds like you were upfront with kids that you recruited.
Well, we weren't talking about this to recruits. Where I'm going is spring recruiting this year, knowing we proactively lessened the amount of evaluation days, lessened the amount of visits this fall. We were proactively talking to it. We definitely are talking about the current recruits right now, knowing that this is all in our past and will not impact in any way their experience here at Michigan State.
And for you and your staff, how has it been to kind of navigate through that?
I think we got a professional group of coaches in regards to, we're navigating. There's going to be you're always adjusting and things, still confident in the approach and the place that we can do really good things here.
One more thing about football offensive line, untimely tackles for losses in certain situations, might be like third and maybe telling you 2 plays that you get it in the losing yard, it's 4 or 5 all the time.
That particular play, I'm sorry to cut you off, tonight, we got in the wrong play. That went on the old line.
Okay, well, I think the line's coming along with pass protection and tackles for loss today, and base body work.
Yeah, let me watch the film, but they're never timely when you're going backwards. And again, that's a good defensive front we were going to play. We're going to need though to pick and choose sometimes of taking some chances down the field, and it didn't work out tonight.
And one more thing about the vacation, I'm sorry to ask about that again, but you personally, how much does it bother you or anger you that the NCAA took 5 points away from those players?
I don't agree with it, and I think that's similar to the stance at Michigan State, that we don't totally agree with it, that I think we could modernize, I think was a part of the quote, how penalties are enforced.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was open for a few minutes, or I stand?